live. We can go live. I'm hitting now.
Okay.
Okay, David, it says we're live.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Are we here? Is this real?
Once again, the problem was fixed by unplugging and plugging the router back in and waiting.
David's favorite thing in life is to wait and be patient with technology. That's his favorite thing in life.
There's no purpose to technology, let's be clear. It is faceless, expressionless, and emotionless, and pointless, and it should all be destroyed. Welcome to LangTime Studio YouTube series.
And this ray of sunshine is David. And I, Sassafras Peterson.
That's right.
Indeed, Jake, I survived the American justice system. I have done my duty. I served on a jury, and everything is concluded. And so exactly, Dr. Juror Peterson. Ooh, that sounds like a fancy title.
You should have insisted on being referred to as doctor.
I did not but also I was just friendly on the jury. Mateus, not guilty was the verdict.
Mm-hmm.
I am now allowed to talk about the case. For the entire time you're on jury, you can't talk to anyone about the case, including other jurors. So like the entire time, none of the jurors spoke to we did not even hardly say hello to each other, just in case, I think. And then as soon as the verdict was done, we're like, hey, so cool, where are you from? How are you? It was a much different vibe.
Yeah. So this, by the way, these sound changes have not been updated. So they're not going to work right now. I don't know if we have time to spend time during the stream fixing them, but anyway, we'll try to get back into it.
Oh, and that's something because Graham did give me administrative privileges to our languages, not to Luxurgy at large, but to ours. And I forgot to check once we started this language. I forgot to check if I had access to the beaver sound changes, and help out with keeping that to help out. Although I'm not as good at writing the rules as Graham is.
If this is Graham's way of saying that he's no longer going to do free work for us by webifying the sound changes of our languages, I'm not amused. I
mean, Graham deserves fair pay.
Goodness. Next thing, what's he going to want? Rights? Anyway.
I have an abrasion on my back. Now I can't stop touching it. Anyway. Ooh! Glad that...
Hey there, Graham.
Glad that conlang year is keeping you busy. Hooray! Sending so much love to you, Graham. You're amazing. And if you missed David's mood earlier, if you're just now signing on, David's in a mood. It's bright blue skies, really bright sunshine, but David is a little rain cloud today. Oh, yay, Jonathan. That makes me happy. And I'm glad you and Jake are working together, I think, this time, if I remember correctly. The working togetherage. Okay, so I
rather enjoy the UK. I've enjoyed every spot of it I've been to. Even the spot where my credit card numbers were stolen after eating some food. I even enjoyed that spot.
You really shouldn't have eaten food. I mean, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah. I was there years apart, and found a gelato place I really enjoyed, and went back to it by just, I didn't really know what it was called or what street it was on or what the address was, but I just kind of wandered around and seen familiar spots, and I found my way back there. And so got more stamps on my loyalty card. I think I'm 4/10 of the way there to a free gelato.
That's when we got to go in and you got to buy like 6 of them at once.
Ooh, that would be good. It depends. Like whether it's hot or cold, can be very delightful if you're appropriately attired for it and are in the right spot. By the way, look at our 12. It's
What?
it's had a little.
The whole thing has. Look at
Yeah,
the arrows and everything.
pretty wavy gravy, man.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, the only people I've seen complain about hot weather, I'm looking at them and they're just wearing the wrong clothes, and it's just silly. Like, oh my God, it's so hot, and they're wearing like socks and pants and boots and like a hoodie and then a jacket, and they're in direct sunlight in summer. I'm like, well, whose fault is this? Why aren't you wearing shorts and nothing else?
And I blame you when you complain about being cold, when you insist on not putting a sweatshirt on.
No. There's a difference between being outside and being cold and not being properly attired and being in your own house with central heating. Central heating is the equivalent of wearing clothes outside.
Mm.
It's like, I'm cold. Well then, let's turn up the heat.
Oh my goodness, did you get a gnat?
No, I missed it.
Sorry, everyone. Especially now that I've listened to our stream playback and realized how loud the ambient sounds are versus our voices, which are actually quite quiet. Did we ever fix that input mic volume that you said we could fix?
Well,
But we wouldn't want to blow people's eardrums out with claps like that.
The thing is, we can make ourselves louder, but it will also make the ambient noise louder. Would you like for our voices to be louder at the expense of ambient noise also being louder?
At the expense of David's sneezes also being louder.
And that's an honest question, because it's a very simple adjustment that I can make right now.
No, okay.
All right.
Cool. I think what we need to do, David, is just raise our voices a bit and pretend like we're presenting instead of our normal, like, oh, we're just talking to each other voices. If we get our presentationer voices on, I think we both can actually be quite loud.
All right. Oh, the nail drop.
Where is the mic? Is it just sort of at the bottom of this thing?
Yeah, it's somewhere. There's sometimes little holes you can see. I think it might be. Oh, I don't remember. I've lost track with these Mac models.
Yeah, that's really sad. That's a great question, Mateus, but I need to...
Well,
I actually don't quite know. Oh, that worked. What worked? When we moved closer or when we just spoke louder?
I have no idea. What are they talking about? We weren't even trying anything.
Well, we did both move closer while we looked for the mic.
That's true, Jake. Yeah, so we did have a mic upstairs. I don't know how much it helped, to be honest. I think that something that would help would be lapel mics.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't really know how to make that happen. I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to technology, which is where this stream started.
Anyway.
All right.
Yeah. Moving on.
And for those who relate, we were too, because of technological issues, quite late. No, Miles. The reviews would only, the idea is that they would be volunteered. And when somebody is volunteering their things for reviews, you want to be nice unless they specify otherwise.
Although, as Jake points out, I would probably be nice anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So, oh God.
Oh, Mateus, burn! That's perfect. Perfect Copycon reference.
Yeah.
We had some issues that day, and even if you weren't there, if you have seen the video that is on YouTube, then you know we had issues.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yep. So let's go ahead and soldier on. I did for the results of the poll, like which we talked about, last time when Jesse wasn't here. I did resolve them and write them in. So this is now essentially all that needed to be done was what was Rule 8 was moved up here, and then that just fixed everything.
Alice is trained to do sound things.
Neat. Technology. So we should be all set here to the extent that we like it.
Out of everything I opened, I did not actually open the language document. Like, that's embarrassing.
No, for one of us anyway.
Oh my goodness gracious.
All right.
I am ready for a nap. But hello, CJ. Hello.
Let's see. All right. So, I mean, we can kind of, let's see, I think.
You opened Ingala?
I sure did.
Oh, I was like, are we doing something with Ingala today? Was this a surprise? Magpie, I'll take that. I'll let David take over again. I hear he did a wonderful job last week. And I'll just nap on his shoulder.
I was trying to find, this is the nasalization rule. I was trying to find the nasal assimilation rule. This is the post-nasal assimilation rule, but it needs to come after that. Yeah, so nasal goes to alpha place in front of consonant. That's alpha place. How do we write that?
Well, we should have.
Now let's see here.
So at
nasal goes to.
And then one of the features should actually be placed. Like if you go up to what features are defined.
What's a feature?
If you keep going up. Oh, are they not? Consonant. Oh, so far I don't think we have, because like the features can be defined where you say like M is, and then you can define. But I don't think place has been. So I don't know.
Fine. For M, B, what else we got?
Oh, well, now I need to go to that page.
How about FV?
Is it written as FV or put in V?
Well, we've got both of them at this stage.
Oh, yeah, we do. Okay.
And then do I have to put anything at the end here? I guess not. And then the same thing.
Oh, Graham says, okay, I see what you're saying, Graham. So like waiting until the features get used. Okay.
NTD. What else we got? SC. I don't know.
Well, did you want to do dental and those?
Yeah. Let's do that.
And then you can pull. I saw the dentals up there. If you wanted to pull.
Do those still exist at this stage? I guess they do.
I don't know.
I guess.
And then do the voiceless still exist?
Those I don't think do.
Okay. The velar will be really easy then, babe. Because it's just KG Ingma if there's no.
All right. Okay. All right, let's see how that tears it. still get that. Let's show me Angha, and then I'll be happy. Because I think we just have this in the proto, yeah?
We don't have a glottal in the proto.
We don't? Yeah, there we go, Angha. There. Well and good. Well and good. Now I think that, I mean, I know it's not the prettiest rule, but it will do. I think that we're set. Look at our woo-moo. Woo-moo. So, I don't see, at the moment, these all have A's. I'm just noticing that. Except for those that have U's. I guess it doesn't matter. What did we start with? A 5-vowel system? Or
3.
3? Really? 3?
But we have long and short.
Oh. Okay. What happens with das? Aita. So we haven't said anything about vowel clusters. Were we not going to have them? Kind of forget.
It has been a minute since we've worked on this language. And I don't remember. Yeah, we have not done anything with vowels. And I don't fully remember what we were going for phonoaesthetically.
Aesthetically, we did have long vowels in the proto.
Didn't we have a conversation about potentially lengthening vowels before voiceless nasal consonants and then deleting the voiceless nasal consonant altogether? Did that happen?
It sure did. It sure did. Here, watch.
No, wait, that's how we got nasalized vowel. That was not.
Yeah, nasalized, not lengthened.
But I thought. So we haven't gotten rid of the voiceless onsets?
I don't think so. I think that was by design. Because, well, here, you know what? Let's leave all of them so that we can see them all. So we do have mhapa and amha.
So we need to add those to that nasal assimilation rule because fun ma would not change to fum ma.
What?
Remember down below when you were listing all of the bilabial consonants and then all of the alveolar consonants, and I said, what about the voiceless nasals? And you said, we don't have those at this point.
Oh,
they would be onsets at this point, so we do have them.
Yeah, but they wouldn't participate in this nasal assimilation rule. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Let's see what happens. I'm sorry, it took me a minute there. Anha becomes that's well and good right then. What? Okay, let's do that one, and this one is the L.
I kind of forgot we had that.
Yeah, and then we need the N and the Ingma.
Yeah. still haven't seen 12 Angry Men, that some people were joking about with the jury duty.
Um,
And now it's the, 12 Angry Beavers, I think. Or,
yeah.
I don't know, anime fan, you may be talking about something else completely differently, but I thought I saw that joke, something about 12 Angry Beavers, but now I see you actually just wrote The Angry Beavers. But anyway, yeah, I still need to see that movie.
Yeah, it really is one of those that deserves its 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And once you've seen it, then you'll be able to see the Amy Schumer parody of it, which is one of the most brilliant comedic works I've ever seen. Whatever else she did before and afterwards, that was amazing. It's also one of those ones where it's like not Cheers, Wings, where I say where I said, like, if you ignore race and sexual orientation, the cast is quite diverse. It's the same thing with 12 Angry Men. It's like, well, if you ignore gender and race, the cast is quite diverse.
So we're ignoring gender and race. So you're telling me that 12 Angry Men has gay men.
And sexual orientation.
Okay, so it's quite diverse if
Yeah.
you ignore really all of the key markers that we talk about with diversity in a lot of conversations.
Yeah, but like, age, social status, and things like that. And so it's like, if you...
They all got different haircuts. Yes. And how much they paid for those haircuts differed. What more diversity do you need?
TAM, tense aspect mood.
12 Angry Men.
All right, so I do see two issues.
One, that's an obvious issue.
Yeah, that's going to need to be destroyed. And the initials, and we also have sequences of nasals followed by H, in addition to voiceless nasals. Oh, I will disagree with you so hard on that, Arya's Angry Young Man. It's first, it's a bit too cynical. It has one of the most incredible piano openings ever, but then the rest of the song, it's okay.
I'm going to be honest, Magpie. Same. And there have been episodes of Murder, She Wrote that I have watched with David and his sister where I haven't actually been able to tell at least 3 different men apart because they all looked the same.
Patrick, out. You are in LangTime out for the day.
David does not accept opinions that he disagrees with.
No, I mean, that's an Elton John song. He was just straight up insulting Billy Joel. All right, so when you can't tell people apart, what that really is either bad writing or bad acting. In other words, like, and then, that's definitely something that Murder, She Wrote is guilty of. Like, there are certain characters that are very well done, but then there's, I mean, it's a new cast every week. They're a dime a dozen, So it is unsurprising that sometimes these characters all kind of seem the same. 12 Angry Men is a really, really good version of it.
Are we allowing geminates in this language as of yet?
Yes.
What about
Yeah.
Changing it just voice.
Yeah, that's something we could do. We'd probably want to apply it generally.
Except the H could still be
Bubba's written up a rule, and I'm trying to. Okay, VN minus voice. V goes to. Okay, so basically, no. So the first half maybe, the second half no. The suggestion was that amha becomes ama and ama becomes aba. That's too much.
Nice, Alice. And Bubba Bear, glad to have you, and so cool to hear that you're doing a dragon and or slash reptile conlang.
Oh, that is cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, like we really got kind of penned into the small mammal thing, and there are so many that make sense where it's like we got to stick with it, but then yeah, we don't have our dragon or lizard languages. I swear we'll get to bats someday.
We will. We will.
You know, by the way, I wanted to mention this because you know these languages we're creating are for a game, and when it came to bats, it was like that instantiates the introduction of a new type of class and a new mechanic, which was flying, and I couldn't quite figure it out. Same thing with swimming. I want both to exist, but I couldn't quite figure out the game mechanics, and so that was kind of what led me to push it off a little bit, more than anything else.
Everything, yes.
Anyway, so yeah, we need to do something with these voiceless nasals. We either need to lean into them or get rid of them.
I thought the plan was to kill them, because that was your plan literally the night that we like set the sound system. That night as you were laying your head down on the pillow, you said, "I'm killing them all."
That does sound like me, doesn't it?
And so in my head, the goal was to get rid of these onsets, which means not just in situations like but also in ba.
Yeah.
Like we got to figure out not just some, but all of them.
All right. Do we have we said anything about situations like this? We have not.
Patrick, yes, I'm fairly certain he was talking about the voiceless nasals.
So Biblaridiid raises the point that we could say that the bats become flightless as part of their anthropomorphization.
Oh,
absolutely.
I don't want to do that to bats.
It's something that could be done, and it would make sense given the magic of our universe. However, I don't want to do that.
But look at their beautiful wings. They deserve to flap.
Yeah, and like if we go back to the original game that inspired this, which was Shining Force. Shining Force does have flying classes / characters. In the first one, it's 2 winged bird warriors, and basically they can fly over everything but mountains. They can't end their turn on another unit, so that's like the same as it would need to be in the board game, just by fiat. But they can end their turn over water, they can fly over water, and their range is essentially limited only by how far they can fly. In other words, the other ones, the terrain factors into it. And so that would work, but there are other parts that I was having problems with trying to make them not overpowered. I don't know. Anyway, I was having more trouble with the water ones anyway. And so I'll still need to think about that. So yeah, we don't have anything that we can do with that. We're not doing anything with that at the moment.
It's just so effortful to make those voiceless nasals. Atma, atma, atma,
atma, atma.
I am so untrained for that it takes me an extra step. Oh, George's kids are watching Elemental on their own initiative. I love it. Oh, I got to remember I'm supposed to use presenter voice. Supposed to project for the microphone. David just projected that laugh.
Hot crackers, what do we do about Atma?
Well, we gotta kill that voiceless nasal. No, well, I guess that is do you still feel the same way, David? Do you like the onsets that are voiceless nasals? Hey, Kay. Or do you, I don't know, do you want to kill them still?
I kind of wanted to kill them, and like I saw a very convenient sound change, which was the voiceless nasals become voiced after anything voiced, That would take care of a lot of it. We could treat the initials separately. But then I was like, but I wonder what happens if we have atmha. And sure enough, we do, because we didn't get rid of it.
Oh, Logan makes a good point. I never thought about that. Because they do have little legs for hanging, like to grab onto things, so their feet are very strong. But yeah, that is so fascinating. Oh, but then Tetha says bats can totally walk. But Logan is a biologist, so some bats can walk okay. I prefer Oki, but I'll take your correction, Patrick. Oki was awesome. Turning Red is fun too. The fact that they even enjoy watching Elemental, that's what it's at. That's exciting. Okay.
Miles, I can see your comment.
Oh, is that what shadow banning is?
No, like means that you've been banned and you weren't made aware of it.
Oh, it's like ghosting, but with banning.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So David is still deciding how he feels about situations like atma and mappa. Oh, Miles is suggesting considering atma becoming atsma.
Yeah. So there's a stage in between where presumably all of these voiceless nasals become sequences of H followed by M. Atma. And like mappa, mappa, mappa. Basically, they go backwards. Could do that.
Tethys wants to know how you feel about turning it into an oral stop.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. So it could essentially be two different sound changes. One, we do the sound change I suggested, which is the voiceless nasals become voiced after voiced things. After voiceless things, they essentially denasalize in a particular way. So we do have atmha, we also have apmha, but I think...
That's birds.
Oh, yes. Seagulls were a common sight when I went to high school. Probably not a common sight when you went to high school, I would imagine, yeah?
No.
Yeah. They also come after S, asmha, asmha.
Ooh, Karis is here.
Yeah.
And thank you, Karis. I'm glad I'm back too.
I would love to know what Bibleridian would do in this situation. I'm assuming the answer would be, well, I would never make this many mistakes to be in this situation. Assuming that's right.
I feel like Bibleridian does a very good job of thinking through things before just saying this is how it is and putting it out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that quite often we do exactly the opposite and say, well, here it is. And then we go, wait.
Yeah.
Oops. And so hats off to Bibleridian for being so put together.
Yeah, the thing that makes it so difficult is that we went to so much trouble to give us these nasal H sequences. So it starts off as ang fa with a bilabial fricative, becomes angha. And voiceless nasals kind of sound like a sequence of a nasal and an H. Ha, ha, ha. Like you can see how it's like you could be you listen to it one way and you hear one segment. You listen to it another way and it sounds like an M followed by an H. You know what I mean? In order for the suggestion to work, was it Miles' suggestion? you'd have to come away with the opposite interpretation, that it's not a nasal followed by an H, it's an H followed by a nasal, which is a little odd.
Another idea that could be fun, especially depending on how, protoforms end up coming together to interact, is that proto on ma, where you have that voiceless M at a different, place of articulation at this point, first do the assimilation and we get ma at some point, but then it changes that voiceless nasal into an H, and so ha becomes the modern form. But like, so that in, like, especially if it's like at a word boundary, like with an affix, like that could be a really interesting situation where in every other case it's an N, but in this one it's an M followed by an H, and like it could do some fun little changes.
Mm.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
change habitually to rarely, and I'll agree with you.
Bibleridian, like, I'm not sure you understand. Like, I think in our eyes, you're like this paragon of put togetherness that it's like, someday, someday.
Yeah.
Mm.
Heads of state regularly come to you begging for assistance, and you have to say, I will get back to you after Alien Biospheres is done. So I like your idea to try to get something happening at word boundaries. Can you give that a little described for me again?
Really, well, there's pins sitting right out here. There's also lots of pins up above. So pick your choice.
I'll take this one. It's harpy. What a weird word.
It's actually harpier.
It's harpier. Oh my, it's French.
Okay, so right. David, like protoform on ma. A-N-M voiceless. And then A.
Okay, yeah.
And then it goes through nasal assimilation first.
Yeah, so it's becoming, yeah.
And then the voiceless nasal becomes an H because it's so hard to hear ma versus ha. It just sort of like devoices further, or reduces, I guess, further to an H.
Okay. What about this thing is almost dead. What
it
about
is, and like,
what about
bizarre.
this?
I
Just
didn't realize that.
What about amha?
Well, that's your choice. I was just focusing on one problem. I feel like a lot of these we could analyze as MH. So we could end up getting a whole lot of nasal H clusters.
Yeah, we could. And then the last one to look at is something like atha. In your system, what would this be coming?
I feel like there the M would actually win out, and it could become atma, 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 atma. Huh. It is kind of fun after a while. I'm not entirely sure. If we want to kill it, I do like, it doesn't fit with the other analyses, but just thinking about large picture, some different things to think about. Atsma, I thought was a good one. And atpa, I thought was good too. You retain that bilabialness and the voicelessness, and it's a stop. You just lose the nasality.
Yeah. Okay, let's start.
I think it makes more sense than losing the voicelessness unless we just write kill voiceless nasal rule and like kill the voiceless nasals and turn them all voiced, because otherwise we've got some voicing distinctions, like voicing assimilations, and it doesn't make sense to suddenly take an unvoiced segment following a voiceless one and saying let's add some voice to it.
Let's show me a voiceless M. I really want a voiceless voiceless M.
What are you looking for? Sorry.
Voiceless M. I just want to. All right, fine.
There were some up above in the like in the chart. Up ma.
Miles once again bringing it back to ABBA. How on brand.
Up ma. Abba. Woo! Oh my God! Is Miles then the butterfly meme equivalent of me with music, where you made that meme of the butterfly and you're like everything? It's ABBA. ABBA. Ooh, ABBA. Indeed, indeed. Well, didn't ABBA's name just have one P, not two? Not ABBA, but ABBA?
That's how it was pronounced. It was spelled with two P's because,
Really?
yeah,
Oh.
very little makes sense there. Oh wait, no, this becomes nasalization that we've already taken care of. It's this, and then this. And then kind of separately that.
Was Dothraki the one that you ended up needing to do voiceless nasals because there were so many like MH spellings, or?
I mean, I wouldn't call them voiceless nasals. I'd call them sequences, and we know this because of stress.
Okay.
But yeah.
I think though we did do voiceless nasals in shoe because of spellings. Specifically, like the word for bird, I think was NHA.
Yeah.
And like with it being in that onset position.
Okay. Well, option 0. We love it. It just stays.
Arias, you don't normally show your age in chats, but you may have just shown your age. I'll start the song. It's not by ABBA.
ABBA's singers are female. Smash Mouth's singers are not. ABBA has never done a cover of that song. I don't know if Smash Mouth has ever done a cover of an ABBA song. Those are two of the most random bands that you could ever have pulled out. It's like...
And I love it. I love it. I'm here for it.
It's like saying, you know that song Piano Man by, I think, Daft Punk? It's like, it just doesn't even make any sense. All right. Option 1. I guess both bands start with A.
They do, and they're 2 syllables.
Yeah.
Look at all these connections.
Wait, no, they don't. I'm sorry. The song starts with A. The band is Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth, no.
Okay, they both have A, at least in American English, and they
Would
have...
it be Smosh,
boop, boop.
Smosh Mouth and...
I think it's actually pronounced ABBA.
ABBA, okay.
Yeah. They do have guitars and drums.
See all these connections.
Yeah. Suddenly, Megadeth enters the chat. Okay.
Option 0.
Yeah, we don't change anything. All right. So that's
Tincture, nice.
Okay. So let's say that we were going to do this at some point. We were going to say across the board, these things are reinterpreted as sequences of M followed by H. This is just one option.
Uh-huh.
All right. That's good. That seems good. This still seems off. What do we want to do about this? If this option were to be valid.
And by this, you mean that option where the cursor is? The up,
Yeah.
up. If it's reinterpreted, would the M still, would it be reinterpreted as a voiced M at this point? If it's reinterpreted as a sequence of ha, like ha,
Yeah.
what, can you pronounce that for me?
Apmha. Apmha.
So,
Apmha.
so at that point, it's sort of like a post-nasalized coda / pre-nasalized H.
Apmha?
Well, either that or making the M syllabic. Opm. No.
Apmha.
Oh my god, I can't do that.
Apmha.
Opm. No, yeah, we need a vowel in there. Otherwise, it's just like opm.
Apmha. Let's try that. And for this, amha. Amha. So this could, we'd have amha and amha.
And I feel like one of the M's would drop out. I feel like that's too many for geminate plus the H.
I think that we're fine with geminates.
Oh, geminate followed by another consonant?
I don't think we have geminate followed by another consonant, but look, amma becomes amma. So we're okay with geminates. Here, I'm going to go ahead and write this one down just so that we know. Here, you know, so that there's no confusion. I don't want to make it seem like anything's happening to us.
Sure, sure.
So, what do you think? Amma versus amha?
Amha.
Amma.
Amha.
Amma, amma. Amma, amha. Amma, amha.
Yeah, I mean, since it's a very sonorous type of consonant, it works.
And then this would become mahapa. So I guess this is, we're going to call this a penthesis.
Oh, because we're inserting an H effectively?
No, we're inserting a vowel.
Oh, vowel. But not in all of them.
No.
So, apmaha.
So it would be reanalysis plus a penthesis.
Yeah.
So yeah, now let's explore some of the other options. And the one I want to do now is the one that CJ is talking about.
Arias just turned Patrick's suggestion into fuemo. Afma.
My goodness.
That's...
All right. I want to try something. So this is intervocalic voicing. And it's not like intervocalic, it's like
intervoiced voicing.
Intervoice.
Oh, I really like voive.
No, intervoicical voicing.
Oh, and then it looks like a little icicle in there.
Yes. So then that also changes that to that. That leaves us with these two.
Oh, there is a lovely cat in the window in the unit across the way upstairs. It's an orange cat with a white tummy.
Oh, it's a good cat. Oh.
And looks very, very happy to be sitting in the direct sunshine of an open window. That is delightful.
That actually sounds like something that would be in an 80s cartoon, said by one of the comic relief. It's so cold out, my voice has turned into a voicicle.
Oh my gosh.
I want to see if I can do something about this. Nope, I can't. It's just that way.
I'm not going to put this out there that I was actually inviting a cat into our house, but there may be a cat that likes to roam the sidewalks of our area, and I may or may not have opened our house door just to see if the cat would come visit us. But a leaf blower made the cat decide to walk on instead of walking in. But yeah, this cat looks like a good cat. I'm not at all distracted. Oh my goodness.
Up, ha, up, ha, up, ha.
Like, I don't know what to do with it, because again, it seems weird. There's another cat on the other side of that same window.
There are two cats. They're both looking at us. It's LangTime Studios over there. Hello.
This is amazing. Let me see if I can zoom in and get the cats to post on Discord. But like, it's gonna take some zooming to get my phone to. There they are. Ooh, little movements make big adjustments when you're zoomed in this far. Okay, zoomed in at like 15 times. I believe I have captured the cats. And David is trying to figure this out because I'm really at a loss.
I have an idea.
Oh, no, don't focus on the window. Because now the cat was really looking at me, and so I wanted to make sure I got it. Oh my goodness, David.
Oh, good.
Okay, this is going on Discord right now, and I should. Okay, and I need to. There we go. All right. So David, of course, in all of this time, you have figured out, correct? You know what else?
Give it a shot.
You know what else I want to do? I'm not sure everyone's going to appreciate this funky situation of the font thing.
I assume people on the stream can see it, can't they?
No, it's covered.
Oh, it's covered. Oh my goodness.
And so I now have two pictures I'm posting on Discord as David.
Check it out. It's like it exists in two different planes, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is a screenshot to show that YouTube is freaking out. Look at Jonathan's username on their YouTube.
Oh, wow.
All of technology is freaking out today. And here I post more evidence of more technology freaking out. Itch. Okay, so we've got that. And then over on pets, even though they're not my pets, these are the cats who are hanging out with us today.
How is it that they were becoming peas? Where was that?
Where were they becoming peas? You mean the M's, the voiceless M's?
Yeah, they were just becoming peas, weren't they?
Yeah, and it was to, retain the voicelessness and the placement and the stoppage, but
oh yeah.
It was before that actually. And then essentially, so like at-pa would become at-pa.
Let's
it just loses the nasality.
That's not what we intended. We're going to call this fortition.
Oh, Lavuna just joined. Jonathan heard all the cat talk. That's excellent. David's petting Lavuna through the screen. Little scritches. No, David is so not a cat person. This is... David is a cat.
I think I'm willing to take a look at these three options while acknowledging that we don't love this.
Okay.
Here, and I'm going to kind of separate. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, anybody who thinks me a furry has never seen me interact with dogs.
That's a good question, Jake. I think I'm okay with it. My question to you is, how do you feel about then having this situation whereby these voiceless nasals are retained in one position, so they will still show up unless we do something later on down the road to further kill them? Is that a good vibe for you right now?
Yeah, because they still show up in an initial position, and that's the only place.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Later on, we could always go back and kill, because it's now just in one position, and we could kill it. So it's not that you're stuck with it. It's just I wanted to make sure you're happy with it now. Ooh,
Well, we did that, Patrick.
And Dynonid, the metathesis, we worked to actually take out codas that are voiceless nasals. So the codas are already gone.
Oh, I see what Patrick's saying. No, that's...
Mappa. Okay, mappa. Gotcha. I see. Yeah, I see what Patrick is saying too. Okay.
You sure have been, Patrick. Right on. Get it? Sick.
Okay. Do you want me to write up a little poll to see what our viewers are thinking then? Just to see what they're thinking.
Yeah.
This is a what do you think poll, not a we are stuck with it poll. It's not a patron poll. David takes those far more seriously now that he has eaten an onion. The three options being presented. Do you personally prefer? This is just a personal preference. 1, reanalysis.
Oh, I just say option 1, option 2, option 3.
Look at the screen. David says don't even.
Yeah.
Okay. Option 1. Option 2.
Oh,
and
geez, can't do that.
And of course option 3 is really Oppiton 3. But, you know.
What? What did I do?
I made a typo, but I fixed it before I sent it.
I thought it was me that made the typo. I mean, if it's you, that's to be expected. I kid, of course, I'm the typo word.
This morning I found a typo in something I had written about verbal infleciton.
Ooh.
No inflection here, it's an infleciton.
That sounds like a pharmaceutical.
Ooh, it kind of does.
Not flessing the way you should be? Try infleciton.
Now, Mateus. We know there's so many thinkings. Just a mini Toblerone. Oh, that does sound good. Also, when we get more votes, although we definitely have a lead, when we do get more votes, I think we should celebrate our accomplishments, David. We have
Yeah.
seen 2 cats. The 2 cats are still watching us. So we must be interesting enough for at least those 2 cats. We may even have 3 if Lavuna is still there with Jonathan watching us.
Something else has caught their attention. We need to do something.
Remember that you are much louder when you make noises, and their mics have to be turned up to listen to our regular voices. So, oh, Miles, center of Goggle.
Look at this. It's going back and forth.
It really is. We had a clear winner, but now we are getting closer to vote numbers matching viewers, and it sure is not a clear winner anymore. Oh, Danielle's cat. Lucia is not watching us, but there. CJ confirms. Yeah, Patrick also. Not as bad as sneezes and coughs, but we are making sure that Jake is awake. All right. Oh my goodness. All right, well, I'm going to give you about another minute. If you haven't voted yet, we do have a few more votes that may roll in, but only a few. And so I'm just going to give you another minute. If you haven't voted yet, you're losing your chance to get your voice heard.
I would love to watch the entire run of Star Trek The Next Generation from episode 1 to the last episode, where it is all the same. The only thing that has changed is that every single time Patrick Stewart, and only Patrick Stewart, says full speed ahead, he instead says full Jake ahead. That's it.
The only change?
That's it.
Oh, well. Well, this poll became even more contentious. But wow. Well, Tincture, it's very interesting that it is retaining top position. I'm gonna go ahead.
Also, maybe instead of saying engage, he says in Jake. And Jake.
No, that's better. Yeah, that's better than full Jake ahead. I like full Jake ahead, but like speed becoming Jake. Whereas in Jake, that makes sense.
All Jakes aside, the poll is probably about over, I would think.
I will end it now. We still have one, but check out these results. Like option 3 at one point had 80% of the votes, and like we had almost a third of the votes in. So I was like, okay, option 3 is totally going to take it. It did. But like options 1 and 2 came way up, and at one point option 2 was actually tied with option 3. I'm not sure you could see it because I think it still showed, option 3, but at one point they both had 36%. And so oh yeah, Patrick Jake it, so that makes sense.
Oh, interesting. I kind of like it.
All right.
I want to just drop this in here. Yeah, that doesn't change. And also about this. Now that's interesting.
What is
oh no, wait, no, it'll voice. I don't know what I was thinking.
Wiping off some of the condensation. My fizzy water was cold.
Condensation.
Okay. I heard David did not have a Copico last week.
That's right. I had the inferior Werther's coffee, and we had a little discussion about Werther's and the sorrows of young Goethe. Cheers, partner.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, and these are the last of our Snap It ones.
Of the ones that are somehow meatier. They're bigger and bolder.
That's right. Copico. If you missed the slogan, you weren't listening. Mm, mm, mm.
All right. Amma, appa, mappa. I like that. I actually like that.
I do too. All right. Away with all of this. Let us codify it.
We did it. We actually went with what you all voted on. Woo! This is what we're celebrating here.
Okay, so we need 2 rules. And these rules are not ordered crucially with respect to any of these. At least this rule isn't. The intervoicical voicing rule is not ordered crucially with respect to any of these. Or this one, actually. This, though, we'll probably also need to... Well, I suppose this is a question. Is this going to be an across-the-board voicing rule? Or is it only going to affect voiceless nasals? Is it going to include the approximant? Is it going to include stops and fricatives? Because we have a lot of those. I don't know if that's true, Aryaz. I don't believe that's true. Can you give me 2 forms?
And while you're waiting for those 2 forms, I'm trying to think through. Because right now, AT voiceless L A is totally possible, right? Atla.
Yeah, atla. Which is fine. Let's test that. Because I don't think that that's... I think you're missing a sound change, Aryaz. Yeah. Yeah, Aryaz. Fa with the labiodental one, that becomes antha.
And tethys, yes, it is special to the alveolars. The flappage, if you will, whereby writer could technically in many dialects either be writer or rider.
George, half of those are sock puppets that are just on here to sway the vote. Let's be honest. There's only like 3 people watching.
That is not true. Don't let David.
Alveolar.
The other 29 of you, don't let David pretend.
Sunburn on the top of your mouth. Be sure to apply your alveolar.
Oh my goodness. Right, CJ. How are people feeling about, like, my first thought was you know, we were really focusing on the voiceless nasals. We had not yet talked about that voiceless alveolar L, if we were keeping that voiceless L, trying to do something with it or whatnot. We had not discussed that, and so I don't know what way you're leaning. I'm leaning against personally right now. If you just ask me to give you my opinion, I'm leaning against the intervoicical rule applying to all consonants. That's where I'm leaning right now. So, like, because if we did that, we would lose a lot of things that I think so far I like some of the sounds we're coming up with. And so things like atma, right, with just a regular M, voiced M, would need to become adma.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's fine. That's fine for some languages. I just not feeling it for this language.
I am right with you. I think we should forget about it. Now, I think the only thing that we should ask ourselves is, do we want to include the approximant, the fla? And if we do, is there some sort of a feature that naturally groups approximants and nasals? Are they sonorants?
Yeah. Right? They are, right? Because fricatives would be left out of that category.
Yeah.
Oh, and Miles said that too, yeah. In arias, I fail the CAPTCHA phrases, or the CAPTCHA things, not phrases, but I fail them all the time. Sometimes it's the ones with the wavy letters. I just see a different letter than I think I should see. But the one with the images, where it's like you've got to be like, select the ones that have this in it, I overanalyze it every single time because I'm like, the handlebar of that bike is over here in this image in the very corner. So like, should I click on this image too? Because it technically has the edge of the handlebar of the bike and I need to collect, you know, any image that has a bike in it. And so anyway,
Is part of a bike a bike?
I fail it all the time because I can't answer that question. And I apparently do not follow what they think are the correct rules of the game.
McGreet would fail them all. He's like, those aren't bikes, those are images of bikes.
All out, all out.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I like having sonorant versus everything else.
Let's do it then. I really don't know where the rule should be though.
Probably, Miles. Yes, that one little corner of the stoplight where it's like, do I click on this square because it's the corner of the stoplight that doesn't even have the lighty uppy part in it, but like it's still technically part of the stoplight. Every time.
I think all of these things go together. They may not be crucially ordered with respect to one another, but this is where I think this starts to become relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be, we're going to make a new rule 5.
And then keep those 4 as sort of a group together.
Yeah, so this is going to be intervoicical voicing.
Vicing. Become a vice.
Intervoicical voicing. Except that those wouldn't actually voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, so C plus sonorant goes to plus voice in between, how do you say segment, so consonant or vowel?
In between plus voice plus voice?
Yeah, I guess. The voiceless sonorants. Now we're going to that and that. Oh, I guess. Sorry, these should.
So, Tethys is asking why we have asterisk IPA symbol becomes romanization, letter, and some rules, but not in others. And I'm actually seeing like here, this paragraph goes back and forth. And so, David, if you could expand.
Because for some of these, there's still a midpoint. Or at least we thought so at one point in time. These can probably be turned into romanization. Basically, they become romanization when they've hit the end of the line. These things aren't changing anymore. I think that at one point in time there was discussion of these changing to H. I think they are now at the end of the road. Still, I can't let go. And then this one I think is too. This is end of the road as well.
That was a good little copy.
These may be end of the road as well. Now we need this other voiceless nasals. There's one. And now we need just the N.
Oh, I should have gone and found it, and then I could have
I mean,
copied it on my computer. I'm sorry.
if you were looking to get a raise, but I mean,
last raise was getting to have 2 Kopiko in one stream.
Yeah, and of course that's not going to be happening again because we know what happened.
You wanted the Kopiko? I was actually just thinking, how far away are those chocolate-covered espresso beans?
Yeah.
No, we have not broken that glass ceiling.
I have replaced it with a much stronger glass, though.
Or a plexiglass that just doesn't really break. It just sort of bends.
Also, though, I found it was kind of demotivating for people to be able to see through it, so I also painted it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did, though, show David. I brought home my little jury certificate that I was supposed to show my boss to prove that, you know, I was missing work for a reason. I didn't realize that those were the certificates they were handing out, so I like took one and I'm walking out and I'm like, ooh, where do I take this to? And then I looked at it and it's like, show your employer this certificate. And I was like, oh. So I sent a picture of it to David. So he knows for real, I was on jury duty because I have the official stamped courthouse approved jury duty sheet showing all 4 days that I reported for service.
Yeah, you know the real reason that you actually need to hold on to that. I mean, there's one thing to show to your employer, but the other is to, if you are mistakenly called for jury duty within the next, like, what is it, 5 years?
What? 1 year.
Did they change that? Dang.
Yeah. So now you either successfully sit on a trial or you just get called in and then they don't like actually pick you. Either which way, that excuses you for the next calendar year.
I thought it was for much longer than that. Okay, so there's that, and then the other rule was...
Kara says we have a frosted bulletproof glass ceiling. That sounds about right. Like you think you can see through it, but you can't. Oh, nice. I like the etymologies being provided to show like how shoot, plant, like shoot, like as in a plant, is related to offspring, like children.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, showing how shoot and shootrin became child and children.
What?
Yep. So now we need to change the voiceless nasals into stops after voiceless sounds.
After voiceless sounds or after voiceless stops?
I assume voiceless sounds. So, I mean, I'll gather some feedback on this, but I assumed that asmaha would become aspa. Anybody feel differently?
Do we still have a coda voiceless L? We got rid of the coda voiceless nasals.
Ashta, yeah. I would think, yeah.
Okay, so what happens to a voiceless nasal after a voiceless L?
It would become a stop. So ashma, ashma, ashma would become ashpa.
Okay.
Which I think makes sense to me.
Did you say it does or doesn't?
Yeah, I think it does.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
The way you said that, I thought you said it doesn't make sense to me. I was like, oh no. Okay, then yes, let's do after voiceless.
Okay. Look at all this lenition. It's got to be, I think, before the lenitions happen. Let's make it.
Metathesis is asking, are we going to push it even crazy further? And I'm going to say probably no. Alfma will not become atpa. Aspa. It'll just be aspa.
Yeah, ashpa. Ashpa. I like that. All right. So this is going to be called.
What cartoon is it? Is it Winnie the Pooh, where there's like a beaver who always whistles when he talks?
It is every single cartoon that has a beaver in it, and I always hate that. I hate the whistling, period, and I don't like that it's applied to my favorite animal.
And that's fine that you hate it, but what is the iconic one that I'm thinking of that would be from...
Oh, I'm telling you, it's been in several Disney cartoons.
Can you give me an example?
Winnie the Pooh is one.
It is? Okay, who's the beaver in Winnie the Pooh?
And
because I said that, but then I was like, who's the beaver?
There's...
oh, I'll look it up.
It's a groundhog or a gopher, but you can find... There's so many.
Oh, I think that is. Yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. And yeah, it is a gopher, I guess. Although some people have it tagged as a beaver, so we're all confused.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the one I was thinking of. Okay. Oh, there's also a beaver in Lady and the Tramp.
Mm-hmm.
And they think he may have been inspired by him.
Yeah. He's the one that takes, Chomps to get her muzzle off.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so it is, so everyone, it is indeed a gopher, but like when I searched for Winnie the Pooh beaver, literally gopher popped up and it's like, oh, this is who you meant. Like they knew exactly what was up. And some people had in their posts like also identified him as a beaver because his face looks just the same. It's just, you don't see everything. I'm also trying to remember to look up more. I've recently seen a stream and like my head is just down the entire time and it's because I'm looking at my laptop. But like from this camera point of view, it just looks like I'm like nodding off or something. So I'm trying to be more conscious of like reading up here so that way we're not just looking off screen.
And I need to be more conscious of not looking at your laptop.
Indeed. And so trying to keep up here while not letting my computer fall asleep.
It was definitely a Disney invention, I would say, Karis. Probably not from the original Winnie the Pooh, yeah? I figure they just wanted to reuse the animation and liked the voice. Terrible. Respectively after...
It was just, and it was one of those things, and if anyone's wondering, it's one of those things where I had a very sudden and vivid memory of this animal speaking and with that vocal intonation. And I couldn't place it right away, and so that's why it just like I had to kind of stop and try to verify who it was, because sometimes you get these very strong memories and then find out you were wrong, that it was not at all. I was mostly right. It wasn't a beaver, but the rest of what I had remembered was correct.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that we are finally in a place where I think we can be pretty happy with our consonants. The only question is if we wanted to get more vowels, or if we're okay with this 3-vowel system. We have 3 vowel qualities, 2 lengths, and then we also have short nasalized vowels, and that's it. So we don't have or o or anything else.
The other thing with that discussion, David, with that discussion, we do need to talk about vowel sequences, because we could get something like aita, and you can have that, hiatus, where you get those syllables broken down like that, where, if you just have an a followed by an I, you get ie as 2 separate syllables. The question is, do we want those to do things like create new vowel qualities? Do we want to have diphthongs? Do we want to talk about that? Or do we want to leave it as something like I?
So how do we write long vowels in the proto in this? Do we have to just do a length marker? Look at this. I don't think that the long vowels are even written in here.
We have them in black on the chart, but like I don't know that we've made or really well, of course we haven't made anything. We haven't made any roots yet. I don't know that we've actually discussed those long vowels in a way that made it necessary for them to show up yet.
No. All right. Okay, so we have tapa, tapa, tupa, tupa, and then tipa, tipa. And for our nasal vowels,
I could hold up my laptop up higher, because I'm looking at sound changes. Tupa.
So this, so yeah, right now I think Lexergy is kind of pointing out to us that we've kind of ignored the long vowels since creating them. So, we could say that, our syllable is, optional C, V, and then optional C or V. And then go from there.
When you say for syllable structure, that second one that you said where you say CV, optional C or V, that would mean we would not have codas if we have a long vowel.
Yeah, so you could have taipa or tanpa or tanpa. I'm so glad we got rid of those. But we couldn't have tainpa.
So you're talking protoform, not syllable. Well, are we saying we have the diphthongs?
What?
Do we have diphthongs?
I'm making a suggestion. So that our...
Sorry, I thought you meant VV as in the long vowels.
No.
Okay.
This. That. It's our max syllable in the proto stage.
And
in other words, that's it.
I totally thought that was a 1 in parentheses, and so I thought you were momentarily suggesting that we only have V onsets, like no onset consonants, and I was like, well, that's interesting. Okay, so if we do that, do you want to have a discussion about what diphthongs are allowable? Like like what diphthongs they have or could have, which ones you like.
I don't know.
Okay. And Jake, I'm not sure it would be gaining, but it would help with one rule that we have in particular whereby the vowel becomes nasalized if there's a voiceless nasal consonant at the as a coda. It could get tricky. It wouldn't have to get tricky, but it could get tricky if you had a diphthong there with where the nasalization spreads. Not that it has to, but it is something to think about.
We're getting rid of the long proto-vowels if we do this. We're saying that like vowel sequences are essentially long vowels. And that because of that, they would have been in there since the proto-stage, but we're not treating them as segments. You know, we're saying that the long vowels that are in there are sequences of double A, which leaves us with sequences of AI, AU, IA, IU, UI, and UA that we now can do something with. That's what we're saying.
But with the restriction of not allowing a coda after that.
Absolutely. So wouldn't allow something like ta-ta. It's either ta-ta or ta-pa or ta-ta or whatever. Yeah, yes.
But you're not saying that's necessary, right? Like, I feel like I missed a step as I was staring at the structure.
Necessary in what way?
Where, like, it's phonologically preferable to languages to disallow codas after diphthongs for some reason. It's just that some do and some don't.
In language in general? No, for us it makes things a lot easier.
Okay, but that's what, it was just the way something was worded. I thought you were saying like that's just how it is, and I was confused for a moment, and so I was like, wait.
Yeah, we can't have we wouldn't have Tom versus Tom. Not possible.
Well, but Jake, I think, is saying that that's what they're interested in, is no diphthongs, but allowing codas with long vowels. That's what they were interested in, not that no, David is in a mood. Remember. Oh, well, let me tell you that I adore Finnish and everything about it, and even all of its uses of the partitive case that I don't always get. I adore it, but I will tell you that I have potentially the worst pronunciation, and I feel like any Finnish speaker would listen to me and go, what?
But like, you don't understand. We're talking about the proto-stage. It's just like Finnish. Finnish was much more regular at the proto-stage. It was just when they started losing consonants, that's when things started to get wacky, you know? So it's like, it was so much more pristine and so much simpler at an earlier stage. But then it's like once you started losing these things, then, you know, and it's like, wow, you suddenly have like 3 different vowels in a row. You have long vowels with codas, like you have long vowel followed by geminate, followed by long vowel, and it's like, that shouldn't be possible. But it was like, it wasn't. It made sense. It just, things happened to it to messy it up. And that's what we're going to do here. But we're working with the proto stage right now, not the final stage. See?
So here's a question for you. Would you be interested in doing something with this idea as the pole?
Yeah.
Okay. And so exploring, I would like to potentially explore what diphthongs, because we already know the long vowels are there. So we got E, we got A, we got U. It makes sense to have all the possibilities, like,
at the proto stage,
U, ui. Just because there's only 3 vowels. It's not like, hoggle. It's not like that with all the different schwas and like those diphthongs really being confused at some point because like a is not like super different, you know. Mateys. Well, I don't know. Is that just a decision then that this is something we want to do with the language and less of a poll, or is there something you're thinking about for the poll?
Oh, we've decided this for the proto stage. For the proto stage, the question is what to do with it, and that'll be the poll.
What ideas do you have to do with it? I know one would be
one is nothing.
Okay.
Right. So we have our VV sequences become long vowels, but otherwise we keep all the rest of the VV sequences just as is. So like, tuipa will stay tuipa. That's always one option. And it's a good option. We can keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Another option is to produce more of like a 5-vowel system. And so like I becomes A, ow becomes O, and so on. Push it that way. Another option is like, for example, I becomes A, but doesn't become long, So like that could actually retain its length and then something else could happen to it. There's that option. The other option is that like some things will happen to some vowel sequences, but it won't happen to others. We'll play with some stuff. We'll play with some stuff and we'll get you something good. But we do have time, don't we? We
do have time, which is why I think we could kind of type some stuff up. And I'm really flummoxed by the death of this pen that I swear I used just the other day, and I think it just decided I'm done.
Didn't we use it for an entire year? And it's been running out for months, right?
It has been.
Yeah.
I thought it looked the same. Anyway, I guess that is the pen. Okay, it has lived a good life.
Mm-hmm.
It has died with some writing in David's notebook for a beaver language, so I feel it has gone out the way it would have wanted to.
All right. Let's do all right, and now also typo, tiapa, tuapa, and then tweet. Wait, what am I doing? Tiupa, and now tuapa, tuipa. All right, those are our possibilities.
Okay, yes, I think I see all of them. Okay.
All right.
So one is, well, first, the option one is to just keep them the same, so you don't need to retype them.
Yes. And can we say that when I have two of the same vowel, like we know that they're always becoming long vowels. Nothing is necessarily affecting that. So if we write the double vowel, then it's a long vowel.
Okay.
All right. And then with these.
Oh, and this was the language that we actually didn't have, right? We didn't have any glides. And so,
yeah,
it's just a random fact.
So this is one option.
Dupa.
Tepa. Basically, like if you look at Japanese,
we could get the front rounded.
If you look at Japanese, the way that they render something like a, if they have to, for example, cash was borrowed into Japanese as kyashi. I think it's kyashi. Yeah.
I hope it is, because that is a good-looking word.
And basically, this was their attempt at rendering a.
Fascinating.
And so, like, I could see that as either bringing it down to or a or something like that, tepa or tepa, and then.
Oh, CJ saying with an u at the end. Cashew.
But no tethys. Right. would be what? That, tupa, and then twapa, 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 twapa. So right, this would be that, and then tupa would be.
Oh, nice, CJ.
I guess tupa.
And
what is that?
Sissa languagist.
Same thing.
Is suggesting potentially pull a Greenlandic and do diphthong becomes a long vowel, like the first vowel. So like taipa would become taapa.
Nah.
Miles is asking if you mean O with a slash.
I don't know. Because frankly, these were tense, these were lax. So if this was going to be anything different, it would be, how do you do that caret? It'd be that, but
Dapa.
But frankly, I like it becoming that as well. It's just merging as that.
Which one is the OE smash?
What?
The OE smash. Which vowel is that?
Oh, it's like U, but it's or it's like U, but lower. U.
Okay.
So it's the difference between Kate and or bait and bet is the same difference as between boot and bet.
Okay.
It's, this is retaining the length, and then what's something else that could happen with these?
Yeah, another option is in these diphthongs. I don't know if David wants glides, but like ua becoming wa is an option as well.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Tethys. Yeah, I forget. Like the O with the slash through it, it's like I know where to put that on the IPA chart, but then the O and E smashed together, I couldn't remember if it was a front or a back vowel. I couldn't remember.
Watch this. Copy, paste. This is a space that's underlined.
It has done that many times in our documents. There's something wrong with some background formatting that it wants underlining. I don't know. But it does that a lot in these kinds of areas.
All right, now let's go ahead and it's another possibility. By the way, if you wanted to help me out, you could take some of these and type them.
Well, you'd have to tell me what you're doing.
Just, no, like the top 6 are always the same.
Well, then stop typing them and then I'll type them.
Well, I'm going to keep typing this one. All right, now this one.
Just in case you want to do another one.
Okay, this would be.
It's very slow on the uptake. It's showing you still at the tepa, underneath the long tipa, like it. But at least all my forms are in there. That's what matters.
Yeah. All right. Now.
Okay, and turning those into tiepa, tupa, twapa, tuipa. Okay.
And now.
Gosh, I'm running out of ideas.
I have.
Interesting. So at first I thought essentially what would be happening was different than what happened. Okay.
The ahs are raising so that they're closer to their brethren, but I don't know what to do about tiupa and tuipa.
I feel like they would just stay because they're both already high.
It's kind of interesting.
Both it felt weird for me to have tiupa becoming tiepa. Tiapa, tiepa makes sense. It just sort of shortens the diphthong length of travel, if you will. But with tiu and tui, yeah, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
That's a lot of options. Are we going to give all of them, or are you going to think and narrow down
Oh,
from here?
this is just to consider the options.
Mhm.
We're probably going to mix and match some of these. Decide what makes sense.
Well, what we do know is that long vowels are here to stay.
Yeah.
Based on this model.
Oh, yeah.
So long vowels are here, and no matter what. So really, the thing is, what do we do with?
Does breaking ever happen with high vowels?
Oh, instead of mid vowel breaking.
Yeah.
I don't know why it couldn't.
We're going to the index diachronica. We're doing it. Let's look at ooh. And this is what we want. Ooh.
Oh my.
I want find you. There we go. Huh.
They become mid.
Oh, but that's
not breaking
no.
though.
That's Arabic in front of
here it becomes ua.
In front of an R though.
Okay, so you want it everywhere? Is that what you're kind of looking for? Or?
Yeah, I'm taking a look to see what happens everywhere.
We have 178 of those.
Interesting. Okay.
Jake is asking if there's a version of this where the diphthongs stay long, but we do still have.
Yes, there is. It was the second column, wasn't it?
Third.
Third column. Yeah, there it is.
And then fourth column, they go to all long vowels if we keep that one. And then, of course, the final column, keeping the diphthongs as diphthongs, just changing vowel quality.
I didn't see it up there, Tethys. Do you see it?
U on top.
U plus short. It only has U plus short or U minus long? What the heck? Like, yeah, I don't see it up here.
Well, and also they're not all. Ooh, can you get?
Is it
the
this
breakage?
one?
Can you get the breakage that you want instead? I feel like that would make sense, but like oh, it is. Look at that.
It was written wrong.
And so it shows up here.
Hmm. A lot of these are just long vowels becoming short or changing quality.
Interesting. It's also hard, like, if you had a certain breakage in mind, you could look up the...
I don't see it. This is weird. There's just lowering.
Do you mean it's...
Sometimes did not occur.
weird just in the how it's written in the.
Ooh becomes O in stem final and northern varieties.
Some of those are English shifts.
Yeah, I think the answer is no. A big old no. All right, never mind. Never mind. Forget I even looked it up.
It is not necessarily the most trustworthy. It can, however, be good for bits of inspiration. Even especially as you're going into trying to come up with ideas for sound changes, just to see what are some different options.
Yeah.
We were looking for like how mid vowels often break, so like A becomes like
like Finnish Suomi became Suomi. But I was wondering if that ever happened with high vowels, so that like Suomi became Suomi, but I guess not. Anyway.
It is a jumping off point, just like Wikipedia, and serious research.
Everybody's coming down on it. It's fine. The Index Diachronica is one of the best resources we have. Bless that person for putting it up. So, rah, rah, rah.
I didn't say unbless them.
No.
I said anytime you get a resource with that much information in it, there can be times when it's, not the end all to the be all.
We'll fetch up something nice with these options.
CJ says E breaks. Did you specifically want ooh breaking?
It doesn't really matter. I looked up ooh because I thought it would be easier because lots of other things can happen with E. It's so powerful. But that's all right. That's all right. Okay. We're going to call this a stream.
It's a stream.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Patrons, this Saturday may have to be canceled. We had something come up literally last night, and
it might work. It might work because of the timing.
Okay. We're going to keep you up to date on Saturday. We are having some shiftiness to our schedules that kind of surprised us, and so we're gonna let you know. We are hopeful that we will still have our patron stream on Saturday. If we don't, we will make it up to you as we always do. And yes, until next time. Until next time.
McCain NL.
Stay grammar. Bye.
Bye.
I need to throw that away.